Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you may have guessed, it is Taco Tuesday. It is in fact Tuesday, and thus I need a new taco circulating pump in my case. So we're going to go over everything today, and hopefully by the end of this video I will have my wood stove back in action so I don't have to pay for heating oil this winter, and all will be well. So stick around and we'll go over everything we need to know, hopefully, and I haven't done this either, so we'll learn together. So, I found out this morning that guy is smoked. It is old, they don't make it anymore, so I would say it has lived a good life. It does usually have a cover. I pulled it off for inspection purposes. Anyhow, let's talk about tools we're going to need, what we're doing, and we'll get into it. So first things first, let's talk about basic tools. You're going to need a pair of Linesman Pliers and a wire cutter. Linesman Plier does the same thing, but the wire cutters are nice. Flat and Phillips head screwdriver. You may need both of these depending on how old your unit is. It may have flat heads, the newer ones have Phillips heads. We're going to use this to bleed the radiators later, but we'll get to that. And a pair of adjustable wrenches. You could use regular size wrenches, but everything is in a standard size, and I don't own any of that, so first time I've used my adjustables for anything useful. And then you will need, obviously, your replacement. This is a Taco 007 F5, as you can see. It replaces a 007 F3, which just tells you how old the pump I am replacing is. Now looking at this pump, nothing else has really changed. You'll have your flow direction on it, and that'll sit right into place like the old one did. Wire in just as such, pretty simple. Comes with the 2 new gaskets. They say in the instructions, do not use the flat rubber. You will get a leak, use these instead, so we will, and if it leaks, we'll figure it out then. So those are the tools you will need. The only other thing you will want, as you saw over here, is going to be a bin to catch the water. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more than that bin's worth of water, so I have a couple spares. And I also have a pump if I need it, to pump it out of here into a bucket. But we'll see what happens. So, quick preparatory items. First, get yourself a light so you can see what the heck you're doing, and pull the cap off so you can see the electrical connections. First and foremost, before you do that, obviously shut the electricity to the unit off, and we will go double check now and make sure that I've done so. So let's go look at our oil burner, which may look familiar from another video, being in the background as I fixed my water pump. So we're looking good. Oil burner's off, wood burner is off. Great. So, next thing you want to do is find your shutoff valves. I already did. That's closed. If they look a little weepy like this, they probably leak. Put a container under it if you're worried about it. Find your other shutoff valve. Obviously leaks a little bit, no big deal. Shut that off. So now, none of this boiler water should back up through where we're taking it off, so I won't lose a ton. This is another one of the same pump. As you can tell, it's been replaced more recently. The other one's probably original. So, once that's done, it is time to get started. Anyhow, looking at the wiring here, you'll notice there's 2 Romex feeds into this. The grounds go to those little screws, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna unscrew this, which I will use my Linesman Pliers as a hammer and a flathead screwdriver to knock that loose, and we will disconnect this, and we will disconnect this. As you can tell, it goes to the yellow and the white wire of this unit. If you look at the new unit, you will find that it also has a white wire and a yellow wire. So I'm going to put it back exactly the way it is, and by removing just these 2 wire nuts, I don't have to worry about goofing this connection up. And once this is unscrewed, this whole unit will pull back out of there, and it will actually fix into our new housing right there. So I shouldn't have to disturb very much in the means of wiring. And other than that, it looks like this uses the O-ring seals that I have replacements for right here. So I don't expect getting this apart to be too terrible. Now, before you ask me, well, why don't you just drain it here instead of making a mess here? I don't know when the last time that turned. And I'm not about to find out that it leaks by making it leak. So this is what we're gonna do. Alright, so I'm getting impatient. I was gonna wait till it got colder, but screw it, we'll give it 5 minutes to cool off. I'm going to vacuum this crap up real fast because best friend is a clean workspace, because I will be working on the ground or crouched or something, so Let me clean that up real fast and that's clean enough. Kick that out of the way. Guess it is time to get rocking on this thing. Let's get myself in position here so we can see what's happening. All right, so I'm gonna sneak around the other side and we're gonna start draining this down slowly while I take care of the wiring. Reminder, again, turn the power off and turn the water off. Two things that don't play well together and you'll be touching both of them. So turn off the power at the breaker, on the switch, whatever, or all of them, and definitely make sure your inlet and outlet water for this system, if you have valves, is turned off. Get some wrenches and pull this apart. Alright, so we have drained some water out. We're going to let some more drain. As it happens, there is quite a bit more water in this boiler than I had expected there to be. So with the help of the pressure relief valve, I'm allowing air to enter the system. And that's helping drain it a lot faster, but to be honest with you, it's taking way longer than I had planned. Alright, that took a bit longer than I was anticipating, but we got it drained down. The first thing we're going to do, actually, is come over here and take our pump. We're going to go ahead and place a new seal in each side. Cool. So that fits in good. And this also is a snug, nice, good fit. Stays. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this little scuffy pad that I found and clean up these flanges. Now what I'm going to do is come into here like such, bolt. So, next thing we want to do is get this and this, okay, boom, into here, and that can go into there. Okay, perfect. And then get our locking thing from before, slip that over here, pop that in, go ahead and screw that into place. Okay, so now that we have done this, that is great, perfect, we can go ahead, and put our wire clamp back. Good. This, we're going to have to encourage a little bit. There we go. I think that'll work. Now, we just need to move this wire and this wire so we can reconnect. And if I recall correctly, the yellow wire went to the white wire and the white wire went to the black wire. So I think what we'll do is take our pliers and we'll take it back to here. This is where you pause and you look at your phone, which is what I'm about to do, and just confirm that it is wired the way that I think it's wired, which should be as such. And we'll get that hooked together, get the cover on, tighten these bolts, and it's time to put water in it. Alright, terrific news. I have confirmed with the instruction manual that it actually doesn't matter which way you hook these up. It says it doesn't make any difference, so I'm just going to do as it was, and we're going to wire this up. And then we will carefully cinch these bolts up and get that gasket pinched. And we'll open one of the valves and see if we have any leaks. Don't forget to stay hydrated while you're working on your projects. Let's get this done. Remember, when you're doing these, the wire nut is going righty-tighty. So, wrap your wire righty-tighty, otherwise known as clockwise. Pop that little cover in place. Okay, that part's done. Now we gotta tighten it. And what I'm gonna do is carefully look at this and make sure that I think it is lined up correctly. Okay, so this is better. This is significantly better. Another good indicator to tell if you under tightened anything, look at the gap. See how much thread is here? Need a little more here. So we'll do that. Boom. Okay, that feels pretty sturdy. Now I have to go into the other room for this, so if it leaks, you're gonna have to yell out and tell me because I won't be able to see it. Wish me luck, be right back. Okay, how are we doing so far? Definitely warm water entering here, so that's all right. We'll take our rag real fast. We'll come under here, dry that up real good, make sure we don't have any red herrings, and while that continues to fill, I'm gonna go dump this extra water out. All right, so we have a catch under there. Let's go talk about what the heck I'm up to now over here. So utility room's over here as far as the other stuff goes, and you will hear water entering through this valve here. This was turned off when I bought the house. I really had no idea. This is supposed to limit the pressure from this side of things into here. But as you can tell, the pump's running again. There's a huge amount of volume of water that needed to be replenished in this. The heater itself was probably, 10-15 gallons easily. So it might take a little bit to get this filled back up. And what we're looking to do is get this to here. So if you look, that's going to put us at about 10, 12, 14, 16 psi. We're at about diddly squat. So once we get it up towards here, what we're going to do actually to finish this process is go upstairs. We're going to open up some bleeder valves in the tallest portion of the house so we can get the air out. Pressure will obviously come back down and then we can replenish it. And once we get it topped off to here, I think I'm probably gonna leave this valve on just to see if the limiter works properly. And if it starts over pressurizing, well, then we'll shut that off and I'll know why it was off and I'll replace that later. But for all intents and purposes and this video's sake, I just need this to get here and be able to build heat in this sucker and heat my house because it's gonna be kind of chilly tonight. So, okay, so we have run into a slight snag. As you can see, I got a bucket with some dirty water in it. It looks like my pressure relief valve is not holding any pressure. It's at like 16 pounds on the furnace now, but it does not appear to want to hold pressure over there. So that's good. So now I have to go upstairs and grab a towel and go to my farthest away radiators and try to purge some air out of the system, and we'll see what happens. So right now we're just bleeding the rest of the house. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, everybody. I was going to show you in this video how to bleed your registers, otherwise known as baseboard radiators, and get your HVAC system back up to snuff. However, it turns out that I've got other problems. So now that I've applied pressure to the system, which I will say, even though it is leaking, it is holding it relatively well. The gasket at the bottom of this circulator is dribbling. So tomorrow I'm going to go to the supply house and get some O-ring seals because they're not supposed to use these flat ones. I'm not going to touch this because it's fine, but that we're going to replace with a proper O-ring, assuming there's something left of the flange, and crank that together and see what's what. In addition to that, the other item that is preventing me from doing what I wish to do today is over here. So I have discovered that when there is pressure applied to this side of things, pressure relief valve is not doing its job and it just constantly dribbles. So it would seem that I will be also buying one of those from the parts house. Thankfully, whoever designed this just left me with 3 zip ties to cut, and I should be able to pinwheel this thing off and hopefully just unthread out of here, just get that out of the tank, slap some pipe dope on, pop a new one in, put this pipe back, and fingers crossed between that and a new gasket over there, I can put pressure to it and I can show you guys how to purge the air out of your system. So until then, when in doubt, figure it out, I guess. And yeah, I'll be back hopefully tomorrow if I get this edited in time. Today is a Tuesday, so I'm hoping to edit this in the next soon and get it released today. That way you guys can kind of come along real time, all 5 of you that are watching. I do appreciate it. Thank you, and catch you in the next one.